In Portugal, there's a YouTube show full of fun facts you need to know. Carl rings the bell and the members show to the GMP morning show. Featured guests will come and they will blow your mind. The audience will do so in kind. The little vanity mixed with some insanity on the morning show with GMP. Hey, Gumpers.
Hola, bon dia, alegria. Munson here from Expats Portugal with the Good Morning Portugal show, podcast, and live stream. How was your weekend? I took Frank's advice and went to the beach on Friday and got quite sunburned. I did go into the sea for the first time, completely submerged and swimming in San Martino Bay on Friday. I had a lovely day at the beach, but stayed there a little bit too long and struggled with a little bit of sunburn, looking very British and lobsterish this morning. We have tried cucumber, aloe vera, and other such serving suggestions for the condition, but I'm just taking it easy and had a night's sleep of over 8 hours, which is unprecedented. So glad of that. Want to hear about your weekend. I'm slightly muted this morning. We've had some pretty terrible news about one of our families in the Good Morning Portugal, Expats Portugal community, which I'll tell you about in just a moment after we've said hello to everybody. T-Duck is here this morning. The slug has returned as well. James will join me on the screen shortly, presently, before Gilda joins me at 9 for Migration Monday, where we'll be talking about the bank account problem. Yeah, but that might be extended more generally into the challenges some of us are having with bank accounts here in Portugal. But there's quite a perspective on that with what I'm going to be telling you in just a moment. Tony Baldylocks is here as well. Deagle, Andrew, good morning, Andrew, and Deagle, and Tony and Jeff as well. Baddy's back to be with us after electricity supply problems. Great to have you here, Baddy, and Lisa as well. Gary Orgles, Owen, good morning, Owen, and Darren, John and Pam, who I think more people who've fallen in love with the North, San Martino de Porto syndrome. Yes, this is it. Oh, here's the North. This is it. This is really nice. We'll wait and see what happens with them. And we have a God Squad tip of the day from Coach Turner. Coach Turner's in. And I did see an article about clothing that's too tight that can be bad for you. I wonder what your view is on that, Coach Turner, if you like a baggy tracksuit or some tight lycra. Pandashi 808, of course, new names join us on a Monday because Gilda's here with her Migration Monday appearance every week, talking about everything to do with migrating towards Portugal. And especially poignant at the moment is this problem with the Catch-22 with the Millennium BCP bank situation, and Ativo, which is their online arm, which basically is putting people in a position where they need to be residents to open a bank account now. Decree from, this is a corporate banking situation rather than a government one, I hasten to add. CEF has its own problems, of course, but in this mix now is Millennium BCP saying that foreigners can't open a bank account. When, of course, you need a bank account to become a migrant to Portugal. So it's a catch-22. Hopefully, Gilda will be able to pour some ease into those troubled financial banking waters when it comes to getting the visa. Stephen's in as well, and congratulations to Colorado, say John and Pam. Avalanche, Colorado Avalanche. I don't even know what that is, for winning their 3rd Stanley Cup. Is that sailing, or basketball, or baseball? I don't know. John and Pam will tell us now. I have to share the grimmest of news with you this morning. You may remember from probably a couple of months ago. 3 months ago, possibly, Jim McDonald. Some of you will know Jim from Facebook. That's where Jim is most evident as a part of our wider community here. Jim and Jana. And I was really shocked to see this at the weekend on Jim's Facebook timeline. Dear family and friends, it's with a completely broken heart that I must report to you that Jana, the love of my life partner, my everything, passed away yesterday in a car crash on our way to my daughter's house from Atlanta. A car turned in front of us on the highway, and there was nothing we could do. Jana was in the back napping and never knew a thing. She died instantly. My daughter was driving and has some bruises. and is in pain, but was released. I have a broken clavicle, multiple broken ribs, a cracked vertebrae and bruises. I'm in the ICU in stable condition. Please keep her and me in your prayers. So as you can imagine, that's quite a shock for those of us who knew Jim and Jana. You may have seen them both. They had lived in Germany for the last 7 or 8 years. And their retirement plan was to come to Portugal, which they did briefly and ended up in Tavira. You might have seen that they very graciously joined us after just arriving, actually, in Portugal, in Tavira, to just share their experience of coming here from Germany. Americans originally. Jim worked for the American government in Germany and they fell in love with Europe when they first arrived in Germany and wanted to stay here and chose Portugal as their place to be and chose Tavira to do that. And then I think Jim had some medical challenges and had to go back to the United States, and then this happened. So Jim is in hospital and may actually, what an incredible man he is. He might be released soon. He's making good progress. But obviously, let's throw our net of care around Jim. I don't know what the situation is. Obviously, he's got much more important things to think about and other matters on his mind before thinking about the future. But here we are in Portugal, and I'm sure you'll join me. I've sent him a message to say, we're here and we'll do what we can for you here in Portugal. And those of you who know Jim, you might want to reach out on Facebook. He is responding to Facebook messages at the moment. It may be that's his way of managing and coping, and I've been in contact with him there, and he gave me permission to share that awful news with you this morning. So yes, Ian, I will do that. Send all of our love to Jim. And it's difficult, isn't it, in these situations to then say, okay, we've got a radio show to do, but rest assured, we do have other things to address here this morning, and I'll do that, and we'll keep Jim and Jan and the family in our minds, and on a practical level, do what we can to help with that situation. So if you know Jim, you might want to reach out, or we'll do what we can as we understand what Jim's plans are for the future. Okay. Yes. Good morning, everyone. Then who's tuned in this morning? Migration Monday. Gilda will be here from 9 o'clock. Answering your Migration Monday inquiries, as she does, with great expertise. I'll be sharing with her my scars from my latest efforts to cook sardines properly, and we'll no doubt have a Mandela update as well, to seeing how we can get him, give him a little bit more exercise. Coach Turner, I don't know if you specialize in dogs, sausage dogs specifically, and their fitness. I wonder if you can turn your hand to that. We have a tip from you, which I'll go to now before reading comments, and then welcoming James. Thoughts from the Redwoods this morning with James, of course. Quite soon, in fact. But let's do that God Squad tip of the day and find out maybe what Ian has to say about wearing clothes that are too tight. Eh? Okay, so let's set it up for the Coach Turner's tip of the morning, God Squad tip of the day. Here we go. So the big chord, the lost chord possibly, they're not very well edited by me, I have to say, but you get the gist. Chariots of Fire mixed with the Darth Vader scales of doom, delivering that bad news as you stand on them. And they're reflective as well. So they're quite disturbing in all respects, those Darth Vader weighing scales that Ian ended up with. If you're out walking or running, try to find an uneven surface. That's not going to be difficult here in Portugal, I have to say, where calçada is king, literally. Calçada wins everything and with everybody, doesn't it? Respects nobody, especially in the wet. Be careful if you're coming to Portugal in Dr. Martens shoes. They don't take too well to a wet calçada, I and Mrs. M have discovered. If you're out walking or running, try to find an uneven surface, but keep moderation in all things. It helps, or work your way up towards something extraordinary and difficult. It helps work the ankles and calves, as well as improving your balance. Grass surfaces are perfect. Thank you very much for that, Coach Turner. I wondered what that was. I did save it somewhere, but there's something of a backlash against tight lycra, it would appear now. So maybe we'll see cyclists, those particular two-wheeled cycling and fitness fanatics, whether they will relax their tight clothing policy. Could come as a relief to those who watch them go past, and those who feel they might have to squeeze into that sort of stuff to have any sense of respect from the cycling community. These fashions do come and go, don't they? I mean, if you think about it, you see cyclists now on a Sunday, and you do see that in Portugal. All sport, I think, is loved here in Portugal, and you know, on a hobby level, on a professional level, and cycling is really serious. It's as serious here as it is in France or Italy, I would say. And you see these lycra-clad men, the mammals, they're kind of middle-aged men in lycra. I can't even remember where I was going with this now, but oh yes, you know, I remember talking to an old boy back in Yorkshire years ago who would cycle to the coast from Yorkshire, which is no mean feat. You know, I think he used to cycle 50 miles there and back or something, just on a bicycle with 3 gears and 1 brake possibly, just wearing a hat, you know, no safety gear, just a trilby possibly, carrying a picnic, and yeah, there and back in a day. So it makes you wonder, doesn't it, why people do need to show you all they've got, as it were, through their lycra, and have 500 gears on there. But I don't know. It's interesting, isn't it? How things change like that. Although there was a lady on a recent webinar who seemed to be importing something like a penny farthing into the country, an incredible bicycle. Spoke to her on the webinar last Thursday when it came to talking about bringing things through and some of the shipping challenges people have got and the taxation due on such a thing. But good luck to her. And let's see who's here. Oh, a healthy dog tip this morning. A dog tip, top tip for dog owners: do daily walks 30 minutes or so with the dog outside your property. Good point of order there. Yes, walking the dog outside the house does give you a little bit more scope, I suppose, doesn't it? The dog needs the exercise and all the different smells on the walk. If possible, change your route. Yes, I do that, I'm glad to say. I know that you're not a big fan of my dog training skills, or lack of them, Matty. But I think I tick the boxes there. Two walks a day, which is a real lifesaver for me as well. And we do mix it up a bit. I was wondering, though, if dogs like the routine. But I mean, Jimmy, Chew and Peggy do like to sniff, as you say, different smells on the walk. A little bit of a change from me and my smell, of course. And yeah, we do mix it up and go in different places. I'm glad to say he didn't go missing this weekend like he did last weekend. So all is well there. Hockey. All right, John. It was hockey. That's the whatever cup that was that you mentioned before. Let's go back to the beginning of the comments then before we welcome the Slugger's return this morning. And he really will onto your screens in just a moment. Bon dia, Gumpus. Actually, he can do that himself. And he can do his comments himself. There's no point me reading out his comments for then him to be on the show. So on a Monday, James, you come and do your comments yourself. T-Duck. Bon dia, Alegria, Gumpers. Yeah, can Gilda, first question in for Gilda, can she recommend a bank that allows transfers to crypto exchanges? The force around crypto is strong, is it not? And a few challenges there. Maybe that's why my Millennium bank card is frozen, and my Eurobic bank card, and why I've got problems. It's not why I've got problems with Revolut. Revolut are very open-minded when it comes to the crypto, but other problems there. Bit of a disturbance in the banking force at the moment. I will be asking a few questions too and seeking your help, all of you. I tried to make a transfer to Coinbase. Okay, we'll come back to that and we will ask again. I'm going to start all those comments for later on. Yes, suffice to say, access denied indeed with the banking situation here. Tony Baldilocks, how's that in retirement of yours going? Hola, bon dia from Matty, before mentioned. Bon dia, Gria Toros, good vibes from Matty there, and from Deagle. Bon dia, Carl and Campus from a dry Belfast. So we had 1.25 inches. Let's not get carried away of rain yesterday. Much needed rain. Been awful dry a few months. Yes, indeed. Same here in Portugal. And the question, does the Revolut card, is it accepted much in Portugal? It is when you've got one. That's my problem. Is I want to change to having a Portuguese Revolut card, but it's not as easy as it would seem. I've heard it's a good, safe way. It is, and other virtual banks and bank disruptors are available. Let's talk about that a bit later on as well. That's great, Deagle. Thank you. Deagle, be prepared for the cash economy in Portugal. It's alive and well. You always carry some cash here. Absolutely right. Man Cave greetings abound within everyone from Baddy as well. We do like that. Are we going to accept that as the wider community? Man Cave, Wine Club, forum, Facebook, or should we do that everywhere as Gumpers? Is that going to be the official Gumper address? Shouting, I suppose, some of us are maybe getting a bit hard of hearing. That could be useful, couldn't it? And also, yes, short-sighted too. So nice big capitals, loud shouting, everyone. That's the Gumpers way of communicating here, not just the Man Cave. Bondi from Jeff from a sunny and cool Porto. Jeff with our guest on Thursday, of this week. Is it the first Thursday already? I think it might be. We may have got there by Thursday, mightn't we? Is that the first day of July on this coming Thursday? I think it is. So we'll see you then, Jeff. Thank you very much for volunteering for that. And a bon dia alegria from Baddy. Baddy posting a lovely photo pretty much every day, right, Baddy? Photo of the day, hoping for the best week, and likewise to you, Baddy. Lisa M, are you still in California, Goldilocks, or Portugal? And a good morning, everyone, from Lisa. Gary with a monster Monday with Gilda, tuned in especially to see Gilda. Bon dia todos from John and Pam there. Had a lovely time in Porto, didn't you? And a beautiful picture from the north. I think Vitor spoiling you up that way as well. Pandashi 808, morning all from Owen as well. And Tony, Tony will be with us later this year. Andrew, I'm old school cash, but Ministry of Home Affairs into online banking. I've yet to buy any item online. I like handing cash over an item in my hand. Yeah, it hurts more, doesn't it, to pay cash? And easier with the electronics, isn't it? Doesn't feel like spending. Bondi Stephen, congratulations to Colorado Avalanche. Stanley Cup is hockey, of course. I knew that. Cindy B, Feliz Segunda-feira, Gumpers from Cindy. And Mary Airo is here. I received an email from Millennium Bank saying to open an account, you should have Portuguese residency or EU residency. Ridiculous. We'll get back to that. Congrats, says Jeff, as well, to the Avalanche team there. I'm sure I'm making a real mess of this. Stanley Cup is National Hockey League. Of course it is. And Lord Stanley Cup. It says that's a Brit that it's named after. Sounds like it, doesn't it, Lord Stanley? What is this hockey game? These chaps skating around on the ice with those blades on their feet. Marvelous, marvelous. And yes, of course, messages of love and best wishes. Thank you, all of you, for these messages for Jim and Jim's family, Jim and Jana's family there. Thank you very much. Ian saying events like this remind us to love all our friends absolutely and family and make the most of every day for sure. Jim is here. Jim White, another Jim White. Bon dia, Dorish. Welcome, Gilda. We'll save that for her. And of course, Jim, talking to you on Thursday, you're moving to Portugal story. So let's bring that to, sorry, it's late, all over the place this morning for reasons I'm sure you can understand, but we can't welcome him onto the screen without first playing his very own theme tune. And I do have it here somewhere, I promise. That's a do. Well, hello and good morning. Let me put a better backdrop up than that one. Good morning to you, James. The slug has returned. How are you, my friend?
Bon dia. I'm well, thank you. I'm feeling, to be perfectly transparent, I'm feeling a little less energetic by virtue of the news that was shared.
Yes.
I didn't even know Jim and Jana, but when I got the news, I really felt it. So fortunately for me, I don't have a show to go on, so I can just be in it and not have to carry on through it. So I'm in it right now. I'm feeling it. There's a bit of the empath in me that picks up emotional vibrations or whatever you want to call it. So anyway, it's not going to get in the way, but I just want to be upfront that I'm not feeling particularly jovial this morning.
Indeed. How do you? And yet, you know, it's important to carry on, isn't it? As
Absolutely,
well, but
yeah.
not without the bigger picture. We'll see what we can do to help Jim and family, as I say, and do what we can to help in that situation. You had a very good couple of quotes this morning. I was thinking, I don't need to read those out. James can do those himself. So in case you wrote on a post-it note and then threw it in the bin and thinking, I can't read those out, Carl, because I threw them in the bin as soon as I put them on the screen. Let me do that for you. There you go. You might be able to read them yourself. Does that help?
Yes, absolutely. So I was thinking about thoughts, which I do. I brought that up last week. Had an idea, as I do most weeks, of something I could talk about, depending on what comes up. And this idea of thoughts shaping who we become is something that came to mind. And Will Rogers had a quote that said most men are about as happy as they make up their minds to be. And then I said, wait a minute, I heard that attributed to Abraham Lincoln. And so I looked that up, which was my next line in my greeting. It had to do with what Lincoln said, which was something to the effect, well, I don't, it's so close, I can't even remember exactly what it is, but it's the same thought.
Yes.
And it's consistent with, there we go. I've noticed that a man is usually about as happy as made up his mind to be. If I tried to do a Lincoln, then that wouldn't work. So
go on.
I'll just
go on. Can you do that for us? Come on, I try it. I try my what did I do recently? And I did a southern drawl and I got a real panning for it. Probably was Mark Twain, wasn't it? Do you want to give it a go?
Yeah, well,
do you have any props?
I mean, obviously we don't have a recording of Lincoln's voice. It was way too soon.
I'll make it up. Make it up.
I imagine that it was kind of Midwestern and folksy. I've seen the same quote that says folks usually have are usually about as happy. So I'll use that just to try and get into his voice. I'll give it a go.
Method. Right. I should have asked you a week ago. Then you could have gone around the house being Lincoln.
Prepare your Lincoln, like, that I've never done. All right. I imagine it would sound something like, I've noticed that folks are usually about as happy as they make up their mind to be. Something along that line.
That was you, James. You are perhaps Lincoln reborn.
I have to share this with you. Subtle differences. This came up for me this weekend. I thought I was doing so well with my Portuguese and so well with because I'm really focusing on my pronunciation. Yeah. And what I learned this weekend is we cannot hear our accents. Like, it never occurred to me before. I can hear everyone else's accent. I can't hear mine. So the Portuguese merchant at the vegetable stand speaks some English, and he's doing a really good job of helping me to feel welcome. And he says, "Good morning, my friend." And I'm thinking, oh, I can say that in Portuguese. So I say, "Bom dia, meu amigo." And he goes,
"What?"
Huh? And I said, "Bom dia, meu amigo." And he goes, "Huh?" And he looks at my housemates because he knows that they speak English. And they're looking at me like, what did he say? And Louisa's like working it out. What did he say? And I said, "Meu amigo." And she goes, he said, "Good morning, my friend." Yeah. But she said that in Portuguese. And I said, yeah, what did I say? I mean,
I've had this with Meia de Leite all the time I've been here. Meia de Leite, first of all. So, and they say, "Oh, Meia de Leite." And I was like, yes, that's what I just said. And for you, you're thinking that is just what you said was what he should have heard, right? But then we shouldn't shit on people, should we? Absolutely right. Maybe what we need to do, you know how folk singers do it? When a folk singer starts singing on stage, they get the note, don't they? So we need to go into Portuguese situation and ask Portuguese people to give us a particular note or word so that we can get our ear around it. And it will be, you put your finger in your ear so you can hear your own accent. Go, mais ou menos, bom dia, ciao, 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 ciao. Okay, I'm ready now. Hola, bom dia, meu amigo. Perfect. Do it like that. You need to probably tune it. Well, with your standing
in the mercado.
Yes, with your finger in your ear, getting your Portuguese note sound just right. No, maybe not then. Okay, not one of my best studies. Sorry, back to your thoughts about thinking.
Yeah. So I just to complete this thought, I asked Louisa, "So how do you say it?" And she said, "Meu amigo." And I went, "I don't hear it. What?" And I said, "So what is it?" And she says, "It's your accent." I went, "Oh, that's right. I can't hear my accent." Yes. That was triggered by I sounded like me when I was doing Lincoln because you can't hear your own accent. You just can't. And language is so subtle that what I said was subtly different than my own voice. But
yeah, and Americans will have heard massively different James, like James on the one hand and Abraham Lincoln on the other. But for me, for my untrained British ear, I didn't hear much of a difference, I have to say.
Yes. Yeah. And I totally understand that. That's, I think, why when people imitate, they do extreme stereotypes.
Of course, yes,
because
indeed. And that's why the best characters for imitation are quite extreme in the first place, aren't they? Yes. Yeah. Because to me, I'm thinking American is like W.C. Fields, isn't it? Good morning, James. How are you, my son? You know, this sort of thing. You can really go for it, can't you? But that probably was nothing like W.C. Fields either. Probably wasn't even W.C.
Not too bad, but it's just kind of W.C. Fields with a bit of a British accent. So
yes. What would you like to drink, my dear? It's going into Cary Grant now, isn't it? What would you like to drink, my dear? And the girl says, champagne, I guess. Guess again. Okay, sorry. On with your thoughts.
Okay, on with my thoughts. So this idea of we make up we're about as happy as we make up our minds to be is I'm finding sort of a universal expression of that thoughts are very powerful and shape who we become. One of my favorite Buddha quotes is, "What we think is what we become." And that just got me to thinking that, you know, it's relatively easy to understand that idea, and maybe easy to agree with it. I don't know. But for me, it's like, yeah, what I think is my reality. And so the thoughts I think are going to shape who I am and how I experience and express myself in the world. So that got me to thinking about this idea. People say, okay, well, that's all great. I can wrap my head around that. But what do I do about it if I don't like the way I'm thinking?
Yes.
That's indeed the notice part of notice, choose, act. It's like, oh, I notice that I tend to be negative or whatever it is. So how do I change that?
And perhaps we can connect it, James, to the terrible news we've heard this morning, because sometimes life is real shitty, let's face it. And we're in this same situation, aren't we, of adjusting what you're talking about here, or a connection to life.
Yes. And this is where science, again, coming into ancient wisdom, the concept of brain plasticity, which is the capacity of the brain actually to reshape, to rethink, to adjust, to go to a different part of the brain to charge motor neurons so that we can gain motion in an arm that we thought we were paralyzed in. That kind of stuff is pretty fascinating. But it's also true of thoughts. And so in my mind, I'm imagining, well, what happens to our thoughts? We have a thought, where does it go? And I think some of them eventually, if they go unused for a long period of time, kind of evaporate. I don't know. But I had this Harry Potter vision of this hall of ancient and lost thoughts somewhere in our head, right? Yes. And they just sort of wander down, settling like dust into this storage area that's somewhere deep in the back recesses of our brain, to be called up again if necessary at some point, right? Yeah. So the less we have thoughts, the more buried they get, the deeper they are, and the less accessible they become. But the more frequently we have a thought, we go back to the library, you know, we pull it back up to the top. So it's there, because our brain wants to be very efficient. It wants to go straight to the thought we want. Now that might come in handy someday. I'll put it over here. If it doesn't get used, it gets lost. If it does get used, it gets kind of resurfaced. So that the habit that we shape around our thoughts becomes, to use, now to get out of the library and take the highway to the library, it becomes the expressway to the library thoughts. And the only way, it's where we go automatically. I had a recent experience of talking to someone who said, was talking about their pay always coming at the end of the month because our job isn't important, right? So we always get paid at the end of the month, but all the people, you know, the lawyers get paid, the doctor, blah, 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 and down the line. And me being me, I said, well, that's one way to look at it, but you could say, well, they want to make sure you get paid before everybody else, so they pay you before the beginning of the month. Yes. And the response was, no, that's not how it is. They don't value us.
Yes.
Right. Like, it's the truth, but that was the highway to their pattern of thinking, which is, I'm not valued, and everything in my life reflects how people, and that person just talks that way most of the time about how unvalued they feel, how unappreciated they are. All of this stuff is just this ongoing. So the thought goes straight there. It's a highway that's been built, the expressway goes straight to that thought. So everything in my experience, if that's my highway, is shaped by that framework. So the trick is, how do we build a new highway? Let's put a blockade on that one and let's find a new way. And at first it's very difficult. So new habits. The brain is trying to get there as efficiently as possible, but it has the long map route. It has the wrong navigation in your car system that takes you down roads and you have to go back. It takes a long time to get to that new thought. But the more you go, the brain starts clearing out the road. It starts, putting down the pavement. It starts getting a little straighter. And with practice and time, we can go straight to that new thought. So who I am now as a more positive human being is the result of conscious effort over many, many years of retraining how I think, which takes a lot of work.
Training is the word that comes to mind, James, isn't it? Yes. Training is following a pattern in a habitual way, isn't it? That's exactly what you've done.
We don't become skilled at anything without training and practicing anything. Yes. And I say, turning on a light switch when we were babies and had very little control of our motor control was a very difficult thing. Standing up, walking. And we just had to keep doing it and keep doing it, keep trying it over a long period of time to now we don't even think about it. We just click and we need a light. So it's the same thing with your thoughts.
Great. Thank you for that. We will talk to Gilda in just a moment. And what I'd like to do, if I may, is, I acknowledge what you're saying there completely. And if you don't train it in one way, you'll probably likely go to the default, because that's training as well. That's how this works as well, isn't it? If you don't do something new, you'll do what you already did. And if you don't like the results you get at the moment, it's probably a result of what you're doing that's giving you those results. And if I may, go on.
A good friend of mine once, or not once, he says it frequently, if you keep doing what you're doing, you're going to keep getting what you're getting.
That's right. If you do what you've always done, you'll get what you've always got. Absolutely. And I'm sure that the mind does work in that way. And what you're saying is evidently true for some people who've tried it. Whereas those, I guess, who are trained to thinking, no, that's a load of old new agey nonsense, positive thinking, blah. That's their way of thinking about the world. And they will take what incoming evidence to suit their way of seeing things, won't they?
Yes.
And if in some, slightly clumsy way, I can bring this back to Jim and Jana. And when I rewatched Jana talking on the webinar that we did, she had the most incredible. I think both Jim and Jana. Obviously, Jim is in terrible shock right now, as a lot of us are with this news. But when she was talking on the webinar, she said the most amazing thing, which if I could leave as a little bit of a tribute, to paraphrase what she said, and then it connects with what you're saying. She said, "See, first of all, I said to Jim, what would you say to people coming to Portugal thinking of doing this?" He said, "Well, follow your heart. Go with that feeling, your gut feeling." And they did, and they came to Portugal. And what about you, Jana? And she said, "See everything as an adventure." And the thing with adventures is some adventures have more swearing than others. And I thought so clearly, she had an incredible outlook on life, I think. And anyone who knew them from their videos with their little monkey that they used to feature in their videos when they were very, very, very positive. She was a very positive person. And that's how I'm sure we would wish to remember her. And I extend my love and best wishes to Jim, if you're listening, Jim, or if you see this later, and on behalf of our whole community, to you, my friend. Okay, James, thank you so much for being here this morning. Don't go anywhere, because we like to have a little bit of a catch up with Gilda as well, don't we? And we will play one of her 2 theme tunes. Not many people here have 2 theme tunes. Gilda, of course, course she does. And Mandela probably will have his own theme tune soon as well. But thank you, James, for being here this morning. There's Gilda's got so many, I can't even find them. Let's have a look. Oh, there we go.
It's Gilda P on GMT. Every Monday morning, her approach to self is oh so fine and always reassuring. It's Gilda P on GMT every Monday morning.
Well, a great validation for her approach to Seth there. What's her approach to Portuguese banks like? We will find out this morning a little bit later on when we talk about it. Gilda, hola, bom dia, alegria. Hola, meu amigo.
Gilda.
Hi, how are you?
Well, thank you. And how are you?
I'm a little bit sad with this news, and I want now that James is here, I want to say that I'm not a very good person to deal with these kind of things, especially with this. You know, every time it happens, it shocks me a lot, and it's very hard for me to get through, you know, a notice like this. So I don't know. Maybe it's because I don't have like a religion. Sometimes it's more easier, I think, for religious people that believe in another world or something like that. But for me, it's not easy to get through those kind of things with anyone.
Of course.
With my clients, with friends, with family, it's very difficult.
Yes.
I don't know, James, if you have like any approach for this kind of thoughts, or for people like me.
Well, I'm a big fan of feeling it. You know, feel it. It's a loss. If it's not your loss, it's somebody's loss. If you have compassion, sympathy, empathy for other human beings, you're going to feel it.
Yeah.
The key, I think, ultimately for me is at some point you let it go, but we don't know when that point is going to be. That's grieving. It's loss, and some people grieve their whole life, and some people grieve for 5 minutes, but it's not, there's no right way to do that. So feel the feelings, be transparent, be honest. If people, you know, because they're going to notice, oh, you're feeling kind of down, just own it. Yeah, I heard someone, a horrible car accident killed some people that I'm familiar with, or whatever it is. And it's
yes, really, they did the process with us.
Yes, and I'm feeling it in my heart right now. So, you know, please forgive me if I'm not being as curious I might be otherwise. And most humans will jump to that compassion. They'll be compassionate with you. They're, oh, come on, get over it. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, you know, and then they give you room to feel your feelings. So you're right on track.
I think we're in this latter camp there, aren't we? No one's going to tell anyone to get over anything here this morning. And yeah, if we need time, we need time. And also, you know, I guess a tactic as well is like, I can't feel it right now. You know, I might be doing something that requires my full attention. I can't do it now, but I've got a date with this as soon as I'm not otherwise doing something that is, you know, very important and that needs my full attention. And we can go back to that, can't we? As long as
absolutely.
It's not
there's a concept of pocketing your emotions, which is I like the idea of pocketing. You know, like I have these feelings and they're here right now, but I have to go to work. So let me put it in my pocket. They're still there. Go do my work. And then when I have the space, when I can go relax, where I can just go be who I am, I can take it out and like really feel it. And that's really for helpful. Me, conceptually, it's very helpful. It's not like get over it. Just like put it aside for now, get done what you need to get done, and then you can get back to it. And that can be very helpful for people who like have a show to put on, for instance.
Well, and it's and you could take an extreme view, and I do want to at times. It's just like screw all these first world problems and this stuff that doesn't really matter. There's something really bad's happened here, but that's not realistic either, is it? That's understandable, but the world can't really work like that. And I find that a very elegant solution there, James, to pocket it. Because you're not eating it down, are you, or stuffing it down or denying it. You are acknowledging it, saying, okay, I am going to go there, but I can't do it right now for whatever reason, but I will. And there's a commitment in that, I think, which is very different to denial.
Yeah, well, denial, you're not going to escape your feelings if you just try to deny them. They'll find you. They're not going to go away. So,
oh, I found this now. I finally have to concede that. After 50 plus years of trying to do that, we are getting there somewhere. I think a few of us here, aren't we, in not doing that, particularly the fellas, possibly. My goodness. Okay, so let's pocket that, and we will come back.
I don't think I'm very good at pocketing the same.
Pocketing, putting it in your pocket. Yes.
If you the first
like everything, practice and training.
Sure. Or if you got to go and come back later, we got it as well. You know.
No, it's okay. It's okay. I can do it. I can do it. But I'm very, I'm very transparent. I was never. I was.
We know that. I love you about you. We've been through. You know, we've worked together, haven't we, for what 18 months like this, and we know. And I see that as a great strength. I think people have thought greatly of you because of that. You know, rather than just. Okay, it's showtime. Here we are. Like, you know, none of that feeling stuff right here. You know, we've been through that, you know, with all of us, I think, here, haven't we? And I think that's a strength of our community rather than a weakness or anything to be ashamed of.
It's one of the many things we love about you, Gilda.
Thank you.
Yeah, she's going to cry now. I am. So, okay. All right. Let's
Thank
talk
you,
about
James. Awesome as always.
Thank you.
Should we talk about bank accounts? Because that would really help me right now. Okay. Okay. Bloody banks. Let's project some of our unexpressed emotion onto the banks now, everybody. Who wouldn't want to form an orderly queue or even a disorderly queue with that? Talk to Daniel. Oh my goodness. Talk to Daniel on Thursday. And he gave us a very good insight into this. It would appear, Gilda, that it's the Millennium BCP/Ativo thing. They have made a very silly policy. And somebody here in our community can bear witness to that, who's been in that situation. Yes, like this. I received an email from Millennium Bank saying to open a bank account, you should have Portuguese residence or EU residency. Daniel told us on Thursday on the webinar that, of course, this is a terrible catch-22. You're supposed to be a resident. You're supposed to have a bank account to become a resident. So how can you possibly do that? This is a terrible decision and an unhelpful one from high ups in the Millennium Bank. Do you have any further update on that this Monday morning?
No, until now, it seems that things haven't changed. But I know that they got a letter from some lawyers saying that they cannot keep up with this nonsense thing because because there are people that want to invest in Portugal and they want to open bank accounts to buy real estate and to have the residency, so it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. Okay. So work is ongoing. Is that as the best we can say right now, that the biggest legal brains in Portugal are knocking on the door of Millennium BCP saying, come on, what are you doing here? This is ridiculous in legalistic way.
Yes. And also we are trying to work with our banks, with other banks.
Oh, yes. Okay. So a pivot there. Well, quite rightly so. And there have been a lot of disruptors in the banking space, ecosystem, whatever trendy people call it now. And that makes sense, doesn't it? If they're going to be so silly like this, and they obviously haven't got very joined up policies or very much consultation with their customers and middle people between the customers, and then, yes, they deserve to lose the business. I think nobody would deny that.
Yes, but look, the other banks that I've talked to, they are not used to open bank accounts for D7 people remotely. Yes. And one of the banks told me, "Oh, we just start doing that." So for them, it's like a new thing. Yes. That they are going to do it now. Something that look, for me, it doesn't make sense. They are losing, you know, the thing that they were so good doing, and that among the expats community, they were very well known, and they were having lots of clients, and now they are willing to lose that. Just because they come with this nonsense policy that I bet that who did that was not aware of what was happening. Surely not. Yeah, I mean, and hopefully they won't get fired, but they will at least get a warning for such a silly decision. I mean, let's face it, when somebody's opening a D7 or trying to open a bank account for their D7 purposes, how much are they depositing in that bank account? Well, you know, at least 18,000. Yeah, 20. Okay. All right. 20,000, 24,000, or some people go for the minimum, which is 18,000.
How have I missed something here? Or banks, do they just not like taking people's money anymore? Is it a different business model they're operating? Because I would have thought that banks like having money in their system, and that's what banks are for. Yeah, they hold your money. What's happening here, Gilda?
No, one of the answers they gave me is that they were putting the money, and then once they got the residence,
like this.
And then
you can't hear us for a minute. Okay, let's let James recover for a minute there technologically.
And then once they got the residency, they would pull the money out.
Yes. Oh, so they're not good for business. They only just they go to all the trouble of opening an account, and then they shut it when. Well, we will do if you're so rubbish like this, I suppose, to use a British colloquialism. Okay, so now I understand that a bit better. That's their business model side of things. That they go to a lot of trouble to open a bank account. You sign the tablet 27 times. They give you a card. They open up an account. Lots of people do a lot of work, and then the expats, the immigrants, take their money out of the situation. Okay, I get it. I get it.
That was the explanation that they gave me.
No, fair enough. I can understand that. But then, there are other things that can be done about that rather than just shutting off the bank account there. That's not as the best way. I would have liked to have said goodbye to James, but I think he was having some trouble with his connection. So apologies for that, James. If you're listening in back at home now, thank you for your contribution this morning. We will. Oh no, he's gonna come back to say goodbye properly now. James, can you hear us, and can we hear you properly now?
I can hear you. Yeah, that was interesting.
It was because we were having an eloquent answer from Gilda, but I think you first of all, you looked like you got into a deeply meditative state, and then you were talking but couldn't hear us, I think. So all is well. Let's do say a proper goodbye to you. Just a couple more things before we fully get into the banking thing. Pamela saying it's a real struggle dealing with something devastating and simultaneously dealing with the mundane things you have to do in life. And that is life, isn't it? Well said, though, Pam. That's beautifully put. And when feeling contemplative, taking a quiet walk on the beach alone with your thoughts is always a good idea. And aren't we lucky here to be able to do that so easily here in Portugal? Many of us, anyway, on this wonderful coast here, the wonderful Atlantic coast of Portugal. James, then a final, maybe a thought about thinking, but just a final thought from you. And as we wish you a very good week ahead of you.
Thank you. Yes, I just wanted to add all this talk about Millennium and the banking.
Yes.
I was among the first group of people to be able to open an account remotely from the United States with Millennium, and that was 10 months ago. Like right. It was brand new for them 10 months ago. And they're the only game in the market for at least the United States. If you want a bank account and you don't want to have to be in Portugal to open it, you have to go through Millennium. So that they just shot themselves in the foot on that one. If I was an American going through this, I'd say, fine, what other banks are there? And those banks are like, they're picking it up. Like, oh, okay, here's an opportunity for us. So it just doesn't make any sense to me on that score.
Doesn't make any sense. And we find ourselves saying that phrase more and more, I think, in the Ben Shapiro kind of way. That doesn't make any sense. Another one of my American accents that probably wasn't very good. And before you go, Cary Grant was indeed a British man. James, we discover this morning. So thank you, mate. all the best to you. Ciao, ciao. Or as you have a nice day.
See you next.
Oh, I cut him off. There was no way of saying goodbye graciously this morning, as it turns out. Okay, Gilda. So that's the thing then with this. We're looking into options.
I need to correct James here. It was not maybe the branch he was working with. It was the first time they did 10 months ago. Yeah. I don't know which branch was, but I've been negotiating with Millennium since 2016 to do this because this was a need that I had to my clients. And in 2017, they start asking for the permissions to do it. And in 2018, they start doing it.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. So it was a work that we did together for 2 years.
Yes. Yes. Okay.
As partners.
Yeah.
And we even did like a brochure together.
Really?
For the foreigners, and then and then they betrayed me.
Oh, well, yeah, it's not smart at all, isn't it? Is it?
No, you know what they did? They created like a same concept of migration agency with with
betray you.
with,
Okay. Right.
with a company of the Millennium.
My goodness.
Yes, and then of course I ended the partnership of the main branch, and I start working with the little branch below our office. Like, I don't want anything with you anymore, but of course I needed them at the same time. So
yeah, fair enough.
So I start doing with the little branch below me, and I cutted my relationship with the main branch, because I don't think it was nice what they did. We had all that work together, we were partners, and then they came with this company that did the same things that I did.
That is a betrayal, no question, a betrayal.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I'm really sorry to hear that, and of course, you know, as is the way. As should be the way with these things, you know.
Yeah, but you know, it's business. It's business, so it's.
I know, but I find that very lame when people justify bad behavior, things that you wouldn't do to people in normal life. You know, oh, sorry, it's business. Really? Okay, I think that's less and less acceptable these days. And
I'm just a girl. They are the Millennium Bank. They are like the biggest bank of Portugal.
Well, I understand that, and I hope that changes, because that's a form of bullying, isn't it? Let's face it. It's, you know, we're not only is it business, we're the biggest business, so we'll do what we damn well please. Who wants to live in a world like that? That sucks. As far as I'm concerned, to use another American colloquialism, there, I'm fitting quite a few in this morning. But I suppose enough of my ranting. The important thing is, what are the solutions and workarounds for people? And we'll come to those, because we have a number of hellos this morning, I think, including catching up with these questions. Oh, and another big question, tight clothing. Some distance runners use compression socks to protect calves, which seems to work. Lycra may look tight, but it does allow easy movement, so not sure what the issue is. Okay, I will send you the link to that article questioning tight clothing. Nuno is here as well this morning. Let's see who we've missed this morning in our wonderful conversation that we've had, bittersweet conversation that we've had. Bon dia, todos, and welcome, Gilda, from Jim White this morning. Sam Nazare's in with the connection on crypto and the bank accounts. Millennium also proving to be quite unhelpful when it comes to people doing what they want with their own money. Oh, morning, Mandela. Good morning, all. One more great week. Make it happen, no matter what. Thank you, Nuno, this morning. Great to see you here. Brian Taylor is in with a bon dia this morning. And Darren, not sure if I said hello to you before. Jess was here. You saw him before, but there's his bon dia to all. And Rebel Mama's in as well. Rebel Mama, an earlier greeting. Matty. Sarah's in this morning. How you doing over there? I wonder if Thunderduck's bank problem is a fraud protection tactic. Probably is. Come back to that. Thank you for that. Victoria's in as well. Sorry to hear about Jim and family, sending much love. Morning to you, Victoria. Thank you for that. And Pip's here from Botswana. Capricorn 12, where are you? Very good quip from Andrew about that. Yeah, Capricorn used to work for EasyJet, so it'll be an hour late at least. Maybe might even get cancelled. There, a toodles from Rebel Mama. See you later, Rebel Mama. Big Boy Crypto Pants also here. People competitive about their likes this morning. Well done for being number 7, Matty. I'm not a number. I'm a free man. Lots of viewers for Monday morning, and smash the like button. There are lots of viewers because Gilda's here and people want to ask their questions about migration. So do pop those into the chat now. A few giggles about saying hola, bon dia, mi amigo. Earlier on, you were laughing about that, Gilda, weren't you? I mean, that does happen, right?
No, but you know, my English is not perfect also, so who am I to laugh about?
Well, you're welcome to laugh at us. Your English is so much better than probably most of our Portuguese will ever be. Sarah says, for example, our son has gone to America for a few weeks and stranded his Brazilian girlfriend with us. Stranded. We're stranded with the in-laws. She speaks almost no English. We spend an hour a day on language together to get past smiling and nodding. That's a great strategy. Well done. What fun. Happy memories being made there, I'm sure. I had a painful but valuable experience of a stage director shouting at me, "Nobody will know what you're saying," when I thought my pronunciation was okay. Oh, that hurts. Sam loved this discussion this morning. Thank you, James. Extending a thank you to you from Sam. They're very thought-provoking. I can hear some of the women in my life say, your thoughts, go for a man drive. That's another great tactic. Takes the wrong way, doesn't listen to directions, and can't be bothered to ask. Oh, I thought that was go for a man drive, because so you can collect your thoughts. No, a man drive is where you go the wrong way, don't listen to directions, and can't be bothered to ask. Well, what's wrong with that? Leah is here. Question for Gilda. Does an EU citizen, first one then this morning, not Portuguese, and their EU spouse doing family reunification, need a 12-month rental agreement in order to get the residency, Gilda? Thank you, Leah, for that question.
Yes, they need, because to be registered as a EU citizen at the City Hall, they need to show the rental agreement.
And the duration for that type of residency agreement for EU citizens even, does it have to be the standard 12 months?
Yes, because it's legally, it's the duration of a bit, how should I say, for, you see, my English is not perfect.
No, what's the Portuguese word?
Habitacional.
Oh, okay. So for the residency, right?
Yeah, to live, rental agreement for living purpose.
Habituation. Habitational.
Habitacional.
Okay, let's go with that. All right. So I think you get the gist anyway, Leah, on that, and I hope that helps. You know where we are. We're going to be.
Or here. it can be 6 months renewal.
Okay. All right. So you know where we are, Leah, if you need further information on that. We'll be here for another half hour you asking the questions, Gilda answering them, and me doing my best to get to all of them. So get them in now, because we get this phenomenon, of course, where there's a sudden hockey stick rise of questions at about 2 minutes to 10 when it's too late. Okay, then. Jess is here. Yes. When I was in Portugal, I asked someone in the shop if they serve food, tem comida, and she replied, "What?" You're going to get that. You're going to get that as well. Tem comida is a funny one, though, isn't it? What is it? Queria alguma coisa para comer, possibly? I don't know. That's not a phrase you'd hear every day, is it? Tem comida?
Tem comida. No, it's not.
No. Might be better to go in with prato do dia. You know, just be a little bit more, be a little bit less technical, or just point at something, or just ask for the tirada and hope that a dorada doesn't come out. What's this? I believe Einstein once said, Matty, quoting a fellow countryman, if you repeat what you're doing and expect a different result, you're not smart. Thank you for that, Einstein and Matty, this morning. Look who's here this morning. Hank and Connie in their new home, I think. Good morning from De Gaia, right? And hi, James. We'll pass that on to James. Connie, Hank, how are you both? A little bit tired, I think. Isn't it great, though, to have them in the country?
They just arrived.
They have just arrived. Superb. Bon dia alegria from Mike and Maggie. Nice to see you from time to time here, Mike and Maggie. Been a while. Manic times prepping for the Portugal move. You have a very good excuse for not to be here. Superb. Cindy, sending you a hug earlier on there. Isn't that lovely?
Thank you.
To you, Gilda. Yes, compartmentalization. That was a way of talking about it as well, wasn't it? In a positive way, I think. I find it helpful to dedicate time to fully embrace all of the feelings, grief, sorrow, and release it to the universe. There you go. Sam, you're quite amazing. Hi, is it true that some banks are not opening? Hey, what's this? Is it true that some banks are not opening accounts anymore without having a Portuguese resident? It is Viva C. Oh,
that's not true.
Okay.
Without having.
Yes, indeed. Yes, that's the question. That came in. And we have talked about that, Viva C.
Yeah.
And we will continue to this morning. And Rishab, keen to say hello as well to you and to the other two who were here this morning. Rishab, good morning to you. And let's find his picture and get a Mandela update. How is the little rascal? We heard him barking earlier on.
Yeah, he's fine.
Is he? Sometimes he's like this, isn't he, when he's chewed through a door? That's not Mandela. But he has done.
You know, I still have the problem that he doesn't stay alone at home. We had to leave him this week because it was a party at my daughter's school, and we were away for 3 hours, and we just left a camera, and he was crying, and he was doing, this noise all the time, and we were, my God, the neighbors are going crazy with this.
Yes.
So it's very difficult for him to stay home alone. I don't know what I'm going to do.
Well, instead of giving him a camera, which to be fair he can't use, why don't you leave him a little radio so he thinks there are people?
No. Look, my husband, he bought the channel for this dog's TV.
He's got his own telly subscription.
Yeah.
And he's still not happy. Oh,
he's still not happy.
He's a pampered pooch, Gilda. He's a pampered pooch. Any suggestions, folks? So obviously he's very well and enjoying
He's
life.
very spoiled.
Very spoiled. We know. We can hear this. Okay. All right. Pete's in this morning as well. We're going to get some help with that, I think. Morning, Pete. But look at this. Bon dia, mi amigo. Very good. What's that? Jeff Hill as well saying hello to you this morning from the top of a hill, possibly in Porto.
Hello.
Jethro is here as well. Jethro Delgado. Hi, Gilda. Jethro from Puerto Rico.
Hello.
This morning. Isn't that great?
I'm going to reply to you. One thing that I need to say is that sometimes people write to me and they want me to write back straight away, but you know that I'm very busy.
Yes, and also that's not quite how it works here in Portugal. We have to say this, don't we? Little point of order here. Whilst in America, and I do have that, I found that out of office thing. That's I'll see if I can find it for you. But Gilda, while we're talking about how people should expect responses, generally not just from your company, but somebody, Phil Ruff made an amazing observation about how business in Portugal is much more relational rather than transactional. And by that, or what I took it to mean anyway, if you send an email in to somebody in America, they will probably have an elaborate system for setting up their response. Got your email, we'll get back to you in less than half an hour, otherwise you can sue me, that kind of thing. Whereas in Portugal, it's okay, I've got your email. I'm not going to tell you I've got your email. I will reply to you when there's something useful and important to say. And that might take a little bit longer than 30 minutes. Am I right?
Yeah, or sometimes I'm just working on the answer and I will answer when the answer is finished.
Yes, which does take a little bit of getting used to for people who are used to that out of office. Like in America, it's like, I'm just having kidney surgery, but you can catch me on my cell phone. Whereas in Europe, it's like, it's August, see you in September. It's a bit different. That's not to say, better or worse, although it can be frustrating if you're not used to it. But there's a little bit of a heads up there. And not necessarily aimed at you, Jethro, but that might be useful for you this morning. Hi, Gilda. Jethro from Puerto Rico. And Gilda, she said, is working on it, and we'll get back to you soon. And great news, says Mary Airo, who's a recent friend of ours, I think, from the show. Great news to hear, Gilda. Hopefully I can get mine open soon. So we are working on the workarounds, or Gilda is for sure. John and Pam, I nearly went with a Jean and Pam. It seems that higher-ups at Millennium had a muckety-muck meeting and made decisions without thinking of consequences. It's not,
that's for sure.
Surely people in high up in distant corporations don't do things like that, do they? They'll soon hear about it, though, when it shows up on the bottom line. There will be a memo firing up from the bottom, up their bottoms, actually. What on earth were you thinking, you muckety muckers up there at the top floor? Now they are rapidly thinking of how to save face. Ooh, I wonder any suggestions on how they might do that. If you were there.
And also, you are not aware of the full problem, Carl.
Oh, no, I'm not. I very rarely am.
You need to think about our migration legislation.
Yes.
That allows many people that come to Portugal as a tourist and start to work as a tourist. And then with the contract, they submit to SEF, and then it takes like 1.5 years or 2 years to be analyzed. And while it is being analyzed, they don't have the resident permit. They only have the paper that shows that they have submitted the process. Yes. So what is going to happen now is that they are not going to allow this. They are going to allow these people to work. They are going to allow these people to stay in the country, but they are not going to allow these people to open a bank account.
They're
So
lost. They're lost. Yeah.
What are going to happen? Are they going to receive on cash?
Let me. Oh, well, they could. Oh, okay. Because if they can only receive the money in a Portuguese bank account. Okay, so I shouldn't be so rash. Let me think this through, and with your help, what would be the problem for that person if they never opened a Portuguese bank account? Couldn't they have it paid into their Spartan account, for example? Could they not have it paid into their Revolut or Wise? There are disruptors in the financial sector now who are not being quite so dinosaurish in their approach to their business. Could they? Do you have to have your money paid into a Portuguese bank account if you're working here?
Supposedly, yes, because when you go to SEF, you need to show your bank statement
In a Portuguese bank account. Okay, and it might look a bit off if it's on a bank that's not recognized. Although Revolut are Portugal-based, I don't know about the others, but Portugal does have a Revolut base now. So I think.
And remember that we are talking these people that do this type of migration route. We are talking about construction workers, cleaning workers, people that work at the restaurants. So I don't know how easy for them is to have a Revolut card.
I would say fairly straightforward, but typically, you know, the poorest in society getting hurt the worst, and the unbanked. That, you know, there are many billions of people unbanked around the world, aren't they? And I think there are solutions coming, and they're not coming from these big corporates that we're hearing about. The corporate banks getting a bit of a kicking this morning, mostly Millennium BCP and their online activity Ativo. But we need to say, whoa, hold on just a minute, Lisa M. Am I hearing this right? I cannot use my ATM card. Could they just close it as they wish? No,
they are not going to close.
We have to say this to everybody listening right now, because this is what happens, isn't it? These whispers abound in Facebook groups and on forums. You know, we're all part of this, and that's why a little bit of knowledge is a dangerous thing, isn't it? Or a little bit of information is a dangerous thing, because it can get out of hand. They are not closing accounts. There is a difficulty for people opening accounts, okay? And there is no news whatsoever that
closing those that are already happening.
So carry on, enjoy using your ATM card. Have you plugged it in America, Lisa, to see what happens? That said, I'm having terrible problems with my Millennium card. You know, refer to your branch. And in this age, I really resent it. In this age of you know, high technology, I have to make a journey, a pilgrimage almost, to my bank to sort these things out. Both Millennium and Eurobic have been terrible recently with customer service, I have to say. And the Revolut haven't been terrible, apart from how they won't let me just switch from, since Brexit. I can have an account in the UK, but long term, it makes better sense for me to have one in Portugal, and I can't transfer it because of Brexit. I have to open a new account, and they don't make that easy. They don't like to lose. Unlike Millennium and Eurobic, it would seem, Revolut don't like losing customers. They don't let you shut your account. I've heard of, actually, sometimes it's difficult to shut accounts in Portugal. If you have an experience of that kind, let me know. But this is mainly about migration. We're talking about bank accounts this morning because you need a Portuguese bank account. And there is that little trouble at the moment with Millennium BCP. That's why there's so much focus on banks. But other migration questions are also available, and we're happy to answer them, or Gilda is. Here in Dubai, you can open a bank account online in a few hours only. What's going on with Portugal? I think we've covered that, really. And you go on, John goes on to say, should we be switching our accounts to another bank?
No, John, it's fine.
Stay where you are.
Yeah.
Stay at home. Yeah, okay. So it's not a bad idea to have an option, but you don't need to be shutting down and switching, because that is a whole other can of worms. And I do understand why Millennium BCP don't want to put all that manpower, human power, into opening bank accounts and then people leaving. Because let's face it, sometimes it can take 3 weeks to open a bank account. And if you've got staff tied up for 3 weeks, that's a lot of staff time going down the pan when they finally leave after that.
Yes, and let me just give you an example. On the branch that I work with, there was one people that she was only opening bank accounts for our clients, for the D7 clients.
Yeah,
it was her job totally. It was doing that. and she was totally overwhelmed. She worked until late at night because of the different time zones, and then they recruited 2 more people to help her, but their English was not perfect, and also they didn't want to work after hours. So it ended up that she was doing the same, So the banks started looking at these situations and thought, well, we do all this effort. People are working after the hours of the bank, and then they come here and they shut the bank accounts because we charge the fees of the bank, and they go to other banks that don't that charge less fees, or they just take the money out and put on other banks that give more profits.
Yeah.
So I know, because they told me that that was their decision, but they forgot many other things. They didn't put on the balance many other things.
Yeah,
like people that want to put money, that want to invest in Portugal.
Yes.
People that are doing the D7s and leave the money there, because even if 30% of the D7 people leave the money there, it's already good for them.
Of course it is. Of course it is. Okay, let's carry on then with these questions. Gilda, what about current Millennium customers? So we dealt with this, Jeff. I think this is what you were asking before. Leave it. There's no plan for them to close you if you already got your account.
No.
Very silly. But it's worth having an option. Would be what I would chip into there, because not out of spite or anything, but out of strategy, forward strategy. And it's good to have options when you're going around Portugal, having another card perhaps that might give you other benefits. So think about that, and maybe one of the what are they called? Unicorn banks, the disruptors, not necessarily another Portuguese bank, but a Wise, an N26, a Revolut, for example. Okay, to be fair, on the other side of things, Mama and Harry are here. Good morning to you both. Some potential customers, this is in fairness to BCP, some potential customers expect they don't have to provide all the necessary documents, bypass money laundering requirements, and may be quite vocal in their disappointment. It's true. And this is an awful situation for people to find themselves in. It's not fair on staff to have to bear the brunt of customer aggression. And I was thinking about this. I need to ring Eurobic up after they left me hanging there. Can you hold the line? I'll just be back to answer your question. And 20 minutes, I'm thinking that's a bit too much. So when I ring again, I want to be able to say to the person, look, I don't want any trouble with you or for you to feel bad, but I need to be heard here. What's the best way of me doing that? I've got no problem with you. You're just trying to make a living, that other person on the end of any helpline in the world, pretty much. How can I get myself heard without giving you a hard time? That's probably quite a good opener, is it not? Get on the same side. Human beings against the machine. Hi, Gilda, from Brian.
Hi, Brian.
And from Mark. Bon dia. Finish work on Friday to take a career break. Yes, Mark. D7 visa approved and received today. Yes, Mark. Arrive in Portugal in August. A little overwhelmed.
Great.
So that stress can give way to this. You get one of those. That's the Portugal, the harmony in Portugal sound for you that you can look forward to when you arrive in August. Mark, keep in touch. We haven't spoken for a while. Loyalty in business is still important. So true. Gilda knows all about that. And you will see many loyal people to Gilda in the comments and chat and the audience here this morning. That said, they should make stricter requirements, going back to Mama and Harry's comment about not giving staff a hard time, but give the banks a hard time, for deposits to be held longer, as seems Portugal banks not used to ship jumping customers. No, I'm sure they're not. I think a lot of elderly Portuguese people will have had the same bank for life, and that they are finding themselves in a disruptive market now. I have a Millennium account and a rental agreement waiting for my FBI report, so I haven't applied for D7 yet. Should I be moving Portugal minimum wage into Millennium? Good question. Slightly different now.
Well, if the bank account is already open, yes, why not?
Go on, Jean, do it. And hi, Gilda from Connie there. That's fantastic. Welcome. Look, Connie! So many people pleased to have you guys here. And I know there's disturbance in the forum force. You two are back on the forum, which is fantastic. expatsportugal.com/community to say hello to Hank and Connie, who are very busy over there, as well as having a few snoozes and getting used to the change. Hola, Colin, Gilda. Good morning, everyone.
Good
from
morning.
From Viva C, can freelancers benefit from the non-habitual resident tax regime?
Yes, they can, but it will depend on the type of work that you are doing.
Okay, good answer, good question. Thank you, Viva C. Who are you? Where are you? Tell us more about yourself. Bon dia. I'm sure James will get to you. Bon dia. All Agria from Bob Wenger. Oh, which reminds me, Gilda, and I had a little message from my mother, who I didn't think watched the show. Now, my sardine update to you is that I cooked sardines for Bob and Viv, who came to my house, and I did what you said. And I'm proud of myself in a strange sort of way this morning. But I remember what happened last time when I was proud. You kind of had a right go at me about the rice thing there. No rice, Carl. No rice. End of. However, last week Bob and Viv came over, impromptu evening visit. I will grill you some sardines, my dear friends from America. I know how to do this. I've got this. I've been taught by the best. Bit of salt onto the grill, and I'm trying to get the coals going in an alpha male kind of way. And an ember flew back in my face and into my eye. A hot ember in the eye, Gilda. And this is where my mother comes in. And she says something like, lucky escape. Let me have a look at WhatsApp. Message from mother. Some of you saw her on the show when she was staying over here in Portugal. Mother says, it's a bit, because your dad dropped in, didn't he? We don't think they're watching. We don't think they're watching, and then suddenly they're there. Like, bring mum or dad to work day. So she says, you should be wearing safer glasses. Look after your health and your eyes. Safety glasses, typo. What should I have done? I mean, I felt a little bit proud of myself that I was getting right in there, and I could have the scars to prove my sardine grilling capabilities. But it's not a good look. I don't see many Portuguese men wearing safety goggles at the barbecue. That would look a bit... Yeah, you're laughing, aren't you? You would not take a Portuguese man seriously or have any respect for him if he stepped up with full safety, like personal PSE, is it called? Stepping up to the PPE. You'd have no respect for that gentleman. What should I have done? It's
like a man thing. You have to keep strong, It's like going to war with the sardines and...
Exactly, and that's what I did. I pretended to go to the toilet and flushed out my eye in the lavatory. Not in the lavatory, but in the room where the lavatory is. And I just flushed it out, and I actually pulled an ember that had become fused to my eyeball out of my eye. And whilst I was doing it, strangely enough, Gilda, I thought Gilda will be really proud of me.
Yeah.
You are proud of me?
Yes, I am.
You
stand up like a man with the sardines. Yeah.
Get in. Okay. However, I mean, it was a bit reckless and dangerous. There must be safer ways of getting your coals going, right? What would you suggest in that department?
Do you have that kind of thing to shake?
I do. Yes, and that's what I thought when I was at Agriloja over the weekend, building an extension to the chicken coop. I got myself one. I was with my boy, and I said, "Let's get one of those fans so I don't burn my eye again." And I got one, €3. But guess what? Just like you, have a naughty dog. And on Sunday morning, when I went down to the garden, Jimmy Choo had taken a liking to my straw and wooden fan, and he'd given it. I meant to show you this morning, but yeah, okay. So that's the thing to do. That wouldn't seem. You could respect me if I had a fan like of that kind, but not PPE.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Thank you for that. Or the Portuguese fellas get an old bit of cardboard, don't they? Just like get anything for fanning, but don't get your face in. Maybe.
No.
Okay.
No.
All right. I'm glad we've clarified that. There you go, Bob and.
What about the potatoes?
You're leading. That's a trick question. I can tell. You're leading me into a situation where I'm going to embarrass myself now. What about the potatoes, Gilda?
What about the potatoes?
You're holding out. It must be quite awkward negotiating with you, I suspect, judging from this little vignette that we've got here. Well, obviously, the best thing to do is put your sardines on a little bit of cornbread, eat them out of your hand. Yeah.
But you said the cornbread was too sweet. That disappointed me.
It disappointed me as well. I don't think it should be cakey like that, but I get it. A dry cornbread with the fish juices on the cornbread, definitely. What's the question you're asking me before I run into it, only to be undermined and humiliated again in my...
Okay, so maybe next week I will give you the recipe for the potatoes.
Oh, the old punch potatoes.
No.
Oh dear.
It's
so
okay.
Well.
It's
so well.
To eat with the sardines. It's
Yes.
boiled potatoes.
Yes.
Okay, and then you kind of cut it in squares.
Yes. Oh, those little roasted ones.
No, not roasted.
I should. Okay, I'll stop.
Boiled potatoes.
Yeah.
You cut it in squares.
Yes.
You put it a little bit of garlic. You know.
Oh, garlic's allowed in this situation. Yeah. Okay.
Yes. Yeah. Garlic, very, very little squares of garlic. Yeah. You know. Yeah. You put it inside. You put olive oil. And you put, how do you say, oregano?
Oregano. Or Americans would say oregano. I say oregano.
Oregano. And then you mix everything.
Toss it up, yeah. That's it.
That's it.
That's what I was going to say. That's what I was going to say. I just got nervous. Okay, all right. Thank you for that. There you go, everybody. That next time you'll be having that potato recipe. I'm going to watch that on the replay to make sure I've got that absolutely right. Back to the migration questions. If we arrange a rental agreement, this scar to prove it. It's still a little bit chunky in there. If we arrange a rental agreement to start January the 1st, 2023, may we use that address for the D7 starting earlier? Oh, forward rental agreement. How's that, Gilda?
Yes, you can.
It's a yes from Gilda. Excellent. Okay. Wow. The banks don't want our money. That's the first. What are they after or wanting then to rectify this? Yes, Simon. Does a rental agreement made through Flatio? Will this be which sounds to me like, you know, an Italian dish, doesn't it? I'll have the fish Flatio. Oh, no, give me the chicken Flatio tonight with a nice Chianti with that. Will rental agreements made through Flatio be accepted for the D7?
Well, it was before, but since they changed the policy of having a 1-year rental agreement, and then they start asking it for proofs that it was real rental agreement, they don't accept it anymore, or the risk is very high. So I wouldn't advise.
Unless you can get your Airbnb or Flatio or Spotter Home host convert to a 12-month lease, then you're okay, right? If they change their business model.
Yes, but even though it will not be good, because when the time comes to go to SEF, that rental agreement is not going to be good, because if it's a Flatio or if it's an Airbnb, it means that it is registered as a temporary.
Very good. Got it.
Yeah.
Okay, I hear you.
So you cannot use that contract for SEF. So it's not a good deal to have it for 12 months.
All right. Into the last few minutes then. Maybe Mandela needs a doggy friend solution. Get another one.
Wait.
Okay, maybe Mr. Mandela needs a Mrs. Mandela.
No,
they'll be so cute. They'll be so cute. It's the next step. He's got his Netflix ready, and then he can have Netflix and chill with his Mrs. Mandela, can't he?
No way.
You're not happy about that idea. You need to train him to be alone. See, Matt, he's very straightforward. You need to train him to be alone by building up. Check out some videos on YouTube from Cesar Milan. Oh, another Italian.
Yeah, friend. I know. I've saw some,
but they didn't work.
I've watched them.
Okay. Good morning, Gilda from John Gibson. Thanks, Matty. You did try. Bon dia, Gumpers. Hugs to you, Gilda from the OLP, who might be on the gardening Q&A tonight. Join us for that 6:15 gardening and Q&A. That aloe vera of Matty's has miraculously come back to life. If I come to Portugal to start my own business, can I leave the country while my case is in process? What are my options if I need to leave Portugal?
If I come to Portugal and start my own business, okay.
Yeah.
Can I leave the country while my case is in process?
I think this is the same question for any visa process, isn't it?
Yes.
How many times can you leave?
What are my options? And if I need to leave. Well, your options are to apply for a visa, and then you would need to see if it can be a D7 visa or if it has to be a D2 for entrepreneur visa.
Can you start a business and not be resident?
Yes, you can.
So if that's the question, Viva C, you could start a business and not be resident and then just come back and forth on tourist visas. I guess that would be one way of doing it. But then it becomes, then it's limited once you start the D7 process. And how much, we've got more Mandela tips, but how much is the cost for the D7 visa? I have all the requirements, says Kazi Rabiul. Good morning to you, Kazi. That probably is pronounced Kazi. Good morning to you. Can we have a ballpark on that?
I don't understand the cost of our service.
I think that probably is that, including government costs and your costs. What would it be to do the whole thing? Let's assume this is a single person coming in. That is a big assumption. I don't know if that's true, but let's say for one person that sort of process. Roughly speaking, we know there are it may be higher or lower.
I would send around 2,000 euros.
2,000 euros. There you go. Thank you very much. Get Mandela a buddy. He'll have company and a partner in crime. Yeah, I mean, Gilda is not at all happy about that idea. That's why we got Jade, our rescue dog. It was so Magnus would have a buddy. He's a lot better since, but they plan things together. So yeah, swings and roundabouts with that option. Good. Start a dog rescue center. Just be done with it. Good morning, friends from Abel. How are you? Paul Harrison's in. Look, Paul moves up next door to someone who has a noisier dog, so they get the complaints. There's a very laterally thought solution. João F. Bon dia, Gilda and Carl. João F. Good morning to you. Hey, question, Gilda. Could a person use a Portuguese mail forwarding service as the address to open a bank account at Millennium? Can you do that?
I don't think they will accept it.
Okay, so there you go, Darren. No, you need to use your address, a proper home, to show that you're not some sort of money laundering gangster. Who doesn't like a memo? No, we don't read that. Yes, Matty, a legend of a trainer, Cesar Milan. He did the programs The Dog Whisperer. Excellent stuff. Does Millennium BCP hate money? You could come to that conclusion. They don't like cash, do they? Good morning, everyone else. Maybe they've changed their business model. We don't know about it. Good morning, everyone else. I hope I'm still in time to destabilize the show. Yes, give it a go, João F. You've got 2 minutes or thereabouts. Mandela, 1 of 2. Try Adaptil as a collar and as a plug-in. What? Plug him in. It releases the maternal. Releases the maternal pheromones. Oh, everyone needs one of those at some time in their life, don't they? Released by the mother to keep them by the nest. How lovely. Adaptil. Yes, other things like that are available, I suspect. And number 2, don't put, what's this? Don't put the radio or TV on only when you're leaving, as they learn that habit. Oh, he'll just associate the TV going on as being alone. Make sure you're always exercising before you leave. Isn't that great? Try leaving him for small periods of time and gradually increase. There you go.
I already did that.
Thanks, Pip. If they don't have a Portuguese bank account, but they do have how is tax done? Well, they don't care how you pay it and whether you've got a Portuguese bank account by the time it comes to paying with tax. They just want the tax. Is that right?
No, you need to have a Portuguese bank account for the tax.
You do?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, there you go then. Having got a Portuguese bank account, I didn't know you didn't have to have that. I didn't know that you did have to have that for tax, but there you go. So the financiers might be in touch with Millennium as well, then knocking on their door saying, hold on a minute. As from Daniel Barbarini, as a non-resident of all the earnings fall into the 25% tax and not on the progressive tax system. Is that correct?
Yes, that is correct.
Okay. To anyone I have missed, I am multitask challenge. Say hello, hello, and thank you. There you go. Let's do that for all of us. Mucking muck, an Americanism meaning a self-important, arrogant person, oblivious of the common folks. That's our Zay Pavino. That's the guy. Wonder what Zay Pavino would say to Millennium Bank, aka Grand Poobah Bigwig Top Banana. Hey, Carl, would love to have a webinar on lease agreements for D7 visas. We kind of done that as part of our many D7 visas, but okay, this would be of great help. Write that down. Girl, autocorrect, muckety muck. Okay, thank you. We've got that. Gilda, maybe you should go on Portuguese news media and expose all these clowns. You're too busy for that, aren't you? That suggestion from Abel.
No, I'm not. Actually, I'm not. But You know, I was already too exposed in the past.
Yep.
For being the bad, you know, like the bad in the picture all the time.
Yes.
So, and I guess, yeah, I guess that I want peace for now.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. Look, I'm going to work back up from the bottom, as in these last few minutes. You okay for 5 minutes more, Gilda?
Yes, I am.
So, no more comments or questions. Save them for next week, please. How is it terrible service for a worker to give you the phone to someone who can help? Oh, the terrible service part was waiting for 20 minutes, but maybe you're used to that in America. I've got better things to do in my life. Rebel Mama, morning. We were told by a dog trainer to get a toy called a Kong, which you can put peanut butter or treats in. I want one of those, and keeps them busy and helps with separation anxiety. Keep him busy licking peanut butter out of a toy while you're out. What could possibly go wrong? I'm not sure about that one. Oh, we didn't get oh, it's not my terrible service. It's T-Duck's terrible service there that Rebel Mama was taking issue. Actually, I don't think I should go from the bottom up, so to speak, here, because it really becomes very confusing. However, stop making my ego even bigger. I think that is with compliments. But you saw what happened there, Rishab. I was allowed to float upwards and then got taken down. But look, this helps with my ego. The sardines were delicious. Gilda, thank you, Carl, for the treat. So yes, a good review. Carl, face shield at the barbecue. No, it's not gonna happen. Thanks for the answer, says Jean. Let's not get confused. But banks make money using our money. They are not poor and can pay as many employers as they need to take our money. Minimum deposit 18 without fees. Yes. So all right, let's stop feeling sorry for the banks.
Yes, that's true.
Can a contract be written to charge a huge exit fee if the account is closed before a certain number of months, like 12? Yeah, that would be a way around it, wouldn't it? If Millennium said you've got to stay with us for a year, then that would encourage people. That could be a win-win, couldn't it? But they would be up against other people who don't say things like that, I suppose. I know Gilda.
Wait.
What's that?
Go back.
Go back up the truck to this comment. So BCP could have a contract, couldn't they? And they say, look, if you have to be a customer for a year, otherwise we will charge you an exit fee.
Okay. Yeah. I'm not sure they can do that because they have to respect these rules for the Bank of Portugal, and I'm pretty sure that it would be against it.
I see. Bank of Portugal oversight. They're so complicated, isn't it? No wonder they don't like the new disruptors in the market, because they're challenging all these rules. Eat what you want, the way you want. Don't call it Portuguese if it's not prepared in a Portuguese manner. Yes, it's about.
Now you skipped the other question that we are.
Is this one?
No.
This one. Sorry. I'm trying to cherry pick now. Also, Millennium does offer a free banking service through Ativa, but it's the same.
Yeah, it's the same. Yeah, it's the same.
I think I got everything there, Gilda. There was
no. We were reading another question.
Oh no. Okay. Well, let's see if we find it again. Would you mind to tell me? Did you get your rental agreement done? I'm having a hard time getting it done, says Mary. Talk to Casa Portuguesa, of course, on our business directory. They'll help you find a
Yes, Mary is working with us.
Okay, great. We'll talk to them across the corridor at Casa Portuguesa there with the rental agreement. Was it this one that you were asking about? Eat what you want, the way you want. Just don't call it Portuguese if it's not prepared in the Portuguese manner. It's about the soul of things. It's not so much about the content. It's not so much about the style. It's about the content. Or is it, I don't know. The medium is the message. The sardines were delicious. Yes, that's worth putting up again. That's the one you wanted to see, Gilda, I think.
No, I saw that one.
Did my early question... Did my early question and comments disappear? No, here we go. Let's go to T-Ducks. Seeing as you took the trouble to get him in early, can Gilda recommend a bank that allows transfers to crypto exchanges? Can you, Gilda? While you're thinking of that, see,
I think that Bison Bank.
But BISON.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, there you go. I tried to make. There is a great Bison joke that I forget now, and it might be inappropriate. I tried to make a transfer to Coinbase, but Millennium rejected it, says Tito. They called and told me to bring my passport into a branch. I did this and they told me to try again. So I tried again. This time they not only blocked the transfer, but also disabled my multi-banco card. Oh, public enemy number one. I'll miss the show today as I'm going back to the branch to get my card unlocked. Time for a new bank that doesn't interfere in personal finances. Yes, absolutely right. I mean, fair enough. They need to do checks, money laundering, etc., etc. But I mean, you know, come on, within reason. It's the trouble, isn't it, with these things that cause havoc for the majority of people, while they're just trying to find a minority of bad doers, evil actors. Wear a helmet when grilling. No, I'm not doing that. Like a man. What's that? Okay.
Well, that was me, like.
Yes. Well, Portuguese men. Oh, look at this. Maxine says, well, Portuguese men carry their wives' handbags if they're heavy. In no other country have I seen this. You got this, Portugal. Okay, I might start doing that. We are so out of time and so full of comments, but this is quite
Come
amazing.
on, let's go. Let's go.
I tried to make it. Well, let's go and answer the comments, or let's just go.
No, let's go and set the comments.
Okay, I tried to make a transfer to Coinbase, but Millennium rejected it. They called me and told me to bring my passport. Okay, so you did that again. We're back now. They told me to delete the app and reinstall it and turn it off and back on again. Oh, my word. Okay. Batatas Novo? Is that a bank? No, I'm confusing my potatoes with my banks there. Banco Novo and Batatas Novo. He's trying to be clever there. Is it working? Is that the recipe you were describing?
Yes, but it's not Batatas Novo. It's Batatas Algarvias.
Yes, if I can't get away with that, nor can you, my friend. The Vitor Costa. He should have a workaround. Yes, as well. Talk to the Vitor. Funny, because I didn't use the app. I did everything on my computer. Yeah, lame. They are trying to save you from all the hassle of trying to get your money out of a crypto exchange. Yes, if you think this is difficult, wait until you try to convert your crypto back. Oh, my word. What a financial world it is out there right now. We'll get through this, everybody. Fondle that like button for this heartfelt and informative show. Thank you, Cindy B. Oh, we've been all over this morning, haven't we? I'm looking for a new bank. I will move all of our euros out of Millennium, drop their car insurance and their health insurance. Yes! Stick it where it hurts. I will not do business with Millennium. Thunderduck's mad. He's like Michael Douglas in Standing Up or Down, or whatever that was called. I can easily do that here in Canada. I can send crypto to a local business that hooks into my bank account. I start the transfer and I have the cash in under 30 seconds. There are ways, aren't there? Coinbase is proving to be pretty good. It's just the bank side that you need to sort out, isn't it? Daniel from RPI was talking about Novo Banco the other day. Are they good? Would you rate Novo Banco as an option?
Yes, actually, me and Daniel are working on that, and we are going to give it a try.
Ooh, stand by for news as and when, so that we can have a bit more of this. That's a sound we will hear soon, I hope, when it comes to banking. All right, maybe Mandela needs a German Shepherd brother. Who put you up to it? I had both, and it worked well. Can you imagine that in your home?
No.
Huge Alsatian. No. Okay. Nope.
I don't want more dogs. I don't want more dogs. I cannot keep. I cannot keep.
Can't cope with one tiny little fella, yeah. Let alone a whole dog rescue center there. I meant to say, while my D2 business is still in, visa is still in process, can I leave the country and go outside Portugal? So yes, and how many times? You can. As many times as you like. I guess you're still on a tourist visa, so of course you can.
Yes, as long as you have the tourist visa or the Schengen visa, or you.
Okay, we went to the Millennium. So they've been out to the bank and back since we've been on this morning. They could do nothing. They just called the hotline and handed me the phone. Yeah, you could have done that from home, couldn't you? All right, great news.
Imagine if it is very difficult when you are there in presence. Can you imagine on phone?
Yeah, true.
It's almost impossible.
At least you can stand there with a red face and they think, oh, that guy needs some help over there. Millennium hates crypto more than cash. And it sounds like they hate cash as well. Oh, my goodness. That's their new hierarchy of hatred at the bank. We were told by a dog trainer to get okay, we've done the Kong toy. Jeff is here. Other Jeff is in this morning. I tried Adaptil in the past when my older dog passed and the younger was alone. Did not work. He needed to go through his 8 weeks of grief. So dogs have a grieving process as well. 8 weeks, that would be, oh my goodness. Hey, what's wrong with being the top banana? He is the top banana slug. That's different, James. That's what's wrong with Portugal. You need a bank account to pay taxes. Do you know what, Andy? We had a comment on our YouTube. Typical of the Brits to come up with that moan fest talking about our show last Tuesday. If you want to give them a bit of stick, just go and deal with it on YouTube, everybody. Calling it a moan fest. It's so exceptional that we moan here, apart from today, of course, and last Tuesday. Maybe this is becoming a pattern. Can you open more than one bank in Portugal? Yes, you can.
Yes, of course.
Well, I have. I don't know if I've broken a law. Sometimes you get fines later for things in Portugal, don't you? For things you did quite innocently. Let's have a look. Muito obrigado from Pete to Joao F. Behaja. We probably have to drag a doctor out here tomorrow if there is no. Is that you, Pete? You're still not feeling well, just as we haven't been ill for 3 years. Flipping heck. All the best to you both. What's wrong with Portugal? You get barbecue grit in your eyes. Flaming embers. Grit doesn't do it justice. That sounds pathetic. Grit in your eye. That's nothing. Get that every time I go to the beach. But I need to do something that satisfies my mother and her safety concerns. At least a photograph of me with a kit on. You have to be certified by the Banco de Portugal if you mean opening several bank accounts. Yes, you can. Oh, okay. Darren, she had read a comment on Gilda working so hard. Yes, you are working hard this morning. Let's not let that go unnoticed. Working harder than Millennium Bank anyway. That's not difficult, is it? Everyone have a great segunda-feira and week. Got to go now as I need to get my numero de utente and get an appointment at the vet as my older dog needs to be looked at. I can look at your dog. Send a photo. My husband and I had the pleasure of having a meeting in Porto with one of your associates, Marianne, from Fabio. We are looking forward to your team handling our application process journey. That's talking to you and not me there, Gilda. Yeah. Gilda works hard, but also her contact at Millennium. She was wonderful to us, but there's nothing we can do about that, is there? That contact, that wonderful person has been undermined by head office rules. OMG. In Asia, the men always carry the women's handbags. Well, that's not a bad idea, is it? If you've got access to the cash and the cash card and the parents. Some men don't like to wear glasses, do they? They borrow their wives. So there's another bonus there. Kitchen sink, wipes, felt pens, Sharpie, golf clubs, all those things, B-Day, all the things that women carry in a handbag. You have access to that if you carry it for them. That's what's wrong with Portugal. These are brilliant, Andrew. The morning show is too short. Get out of here.
Yeah.
Rats are throwing themselves on the traps in some people's houses already. We've been here for like 5 hours already dealing with migration inquiries. That's what's wrong with Portugal. Banking is sometimes difficult. Yeah, it's not faint praise. It's faint complaining here that we do, which tells you how great it is to be here, except when I'm driving. What's that? May I come across as being flippant, but I do listen. Not at all, Darren. No, we get your humor. Not everyone does, but we do. We moved to CTT Bank. Yes, the post office one. They don't have fees. They don't have a business account, but I think they have introduced some now. Oh, boo, there. Okay, a Kong looks like a sort of rubber snowman. I've seen these as well, made of hard rubber that is open top and bottom, and you put treats in. And Summers do something like that as well, I think. To Mary, to you, would be beneficial to arrange for online meetings, chats with customers, for a better understanding of the process services. Thank you. Well, at forthcoming meetups that may be of a residential nature, you can get to talk to Gilda and team. We are looking forward to that, and we're working on it, aren't we, Gilda? Well, I am.
Yes. I know that she's been working with Carla. I can talk with her.
Excellent. Okay. No, but I think this is a call for a meet and greet in the style that we've started at our meetups, where we've had the likes of Nunu and Sarah from Spartan, Winsurance's Nunu, Michael from Serenity. I think when we have one in Lisbon, you'll pop along to that. And if we have a weekend residential, I'm sure we can party together as well, on what fun that will be, because we know you like a party. We saw you looking at those pictures of the Portimao posse getting ready to go out. You want to party with Victoria, don't you? And with Jack down there. So I think that sort of weekend's going to be great. So yes, Mary, excellent. Thank you. Marvelous. I think that just about does it, unless I've missed a huge tranche, unless I've been horribly inefficient and terrible like Millennium BC Bank this morning. I think that does it, apart from to say flaming embers, Batman. And of course, thank you, Gilda, for your suggestion. Read the bank. Have a good week. Do you have a final thought, Gilda, before we play your rave tune to go into the week with?
You know, I'm very bad with names. I'm sorry for that.
I'm Carl, by the way. Carl.
But I want to thank the client Mark.
Yes.
I don't remember his surname,
Okay.
but he was very sweet because he bring a toy to Mandela.
Oh,
It's a boomerang, and he really loves it.
Oh.
Yeah.
How lovely, how lovely. Okay, anything else from you this morning? We haven't talked about Seth at all. It's 15 minutes past 10. We've not really mentioned Seth once this morning.
Oh, everything is the same. Oh no, actually, it isn't. On Saturday night, I got a message because I have some contacts that told me that there were vacancy for renewals.
Oh, okay.
So if you want to renew your D7 card, just try to do it or contact with us, because there are some vacancy, I hope, still available, because this was on Saturday night.
My question to you is this, and that is the name of my podcast, my slightly political podcast tonight at 10 o'clock. If you want to talk about some of the things that we don't necessarily get into here, join me at 10 this evening. But why are Seth emailing you at 10 o'clock on a Saturday night?
It's not Seth.
Oh, okay. You got an email from someone else alerting you to that fact.
You know, it's because I make part of this association, and let's say that they are always getting the news.
So the migration professionals of Portugal are even communicating with each other at 10 o'clock. Late on a Saturday night. That's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Good to know. Good to know that so much is going on behind the scenes, despite some of the struggles that people have. The professionals are doing their best to get this working for you. Gilda, thank you so much for being here this morning. We will rave now. We'll go out with a spring in our step, and we'll look forward to seeing you next week. Take care, and bye for now.
Bye-bye. Have a nice week.
Até a próxima. We do like that, don't we? Oof, puts lead in your pencil, don't it? That sort of stuff, pants and boots and pants, etc. Very quick shout out to Andy from the Bairrada region. He has been sending in more events to us, folks. You've got to look at our events section, and please post your events there. It warrants making a separate what's on video with the amount of content that the wonderful Andy has been sending us. So do please take a look there. There's so much to do here in Portugal. You would be forgiven for thinking it's all done now. San Martinho de Porto Festival, San João Festival, San Pedro Festival, all the same Santos Populares festivals. We're still partying here in Portugal until September probably, and maybe even longer. And you will see the documentary evidence of that, all those events listings that Andy so carefully and thoughtfully puts up for us in the events section, the link for which is just there. Maybe see you at 10 tonight. Last few greetings then. Thank you everybody for being here and being here so long. My goodness, some people, we've been here so long, some people have been to the bank and back. I loves me some boots and pants and boots and pants. Thank you, Gilda, for your suggestion. Gilda, I'd said hi earlier, and now I'll say thanks. Very good manners. Thank you for having me. Everyone is in the same. Everyone is the same apart from the bits that are not. Thank you for that erudite insertion into the show. And who doesn't like an erudite insertion first thing in the morning? Thanks, Carl and Gilda. Have a lovely week. Didn't they reopen online renewals also? Yes, thank you, Jeff, for that. You're ahead of the game there. Being here, not in lieu of Capricorn 12 being here. Yeah, flipping easy, Jet. Don't forget to tap the like button on the way out this morning. Cheers, Darren. Have a great day, Carl. Do you know what? I'm going to play a few more of these on your favorite outro on the internet. Let's do it. Let's have a bit of whistling now. And I'll see you for the gardening Q&A at 6:15 or at 10 o'clock tonight. On my question to you is this, as I rub my chin and we get ourselves into some political deep water, or even some levels of human enlightenment. Let's see how that goes tonight at 10. Ciao for now. Bye.